to our final What's Up Downtown breakfast for the year. It's so good to see everyone here, and we've got even more people on Zoom. Hello to all of you people worldwide. Welcome to the DMI What's Up Downtown breakfast. I'm Jason Elster, president of Downtown Madison Inc. Today is a special day. We are going to recap the year, and it's a pressure-filled day for me because every single chair and every single executive committee member is here in the audience. So I really have to be on my best behavior today. We're excited to hear about all the things that have happened in downtown Madison, all the things that have happened with DMI in the last year. Thank you all for being with us here today. But before we begin the program, I would like to take a second to recognize Dick Wagner, a true leader in the Madison community who recently passed away. Dick was always a DMI supporter and served on the DMI for all three terms of 12 years and was chair of the DMI Government Relations Committee for part of his time. When he chaired the committee, he was integral in strengthening DMI's advocacy work and proposed that DMI create the Civic Agenda, now known as the DMI Civic Engagement Agenda. He also chaired the 6-person Dane County Regional Transit Authority, the RTA board, from 2010 to 2011, helped write the plan for transit that would go to voters for referendum, and continued to write about and push for regional transportation systems and funding. Dick will be greatly missed, but his impact on DMI, downtown, and our entire community will be long-lasting. Our condolences go out to Dick's family and friends at this time. Next, we'd like to welcome several new member organizations to DMI. It is so great to see so many new members coming on board. We've got an excellent group, and one of those groups we're actually going to hear from next month. First, the Center for Black Excellence and Culture, represented by Dr. Alex G. They are our January breakfast speakers, so come and see them again in a month. Isthmus Community Media, who's represented by Jason Joyce. WDS Construction, represented by Jeff Garrettson, and Wisconsin Bank and Trust by my running partner, John Hintz. I think he's here. I don't have my glasses on though. So there he is, ready to run tomorrow downtown. If you ever want to go for a run downtown, come join John and myself. Thank you to all of our new members. You are the backbone of our organization, and we look forward to all of your involvement. Several of you are here today. Next up, we need to thank our sponsors of the What's Up Downtown Breakfast series. We wouldn't be here without the generous partners like Whipley LLP, who is our major series sponsor. Thank you for longtime support of this event. And we'd like to welcome Rob Kane, partner of Whipley, to say a few words. Welcome, Rob. Oh, and I think, do I see Jason over there? Yes, there's several new members here today. Sorry, I didn't recognize you, Jason. It's good to see you. Rob, welcome.
It's always a risk giving me the microphone without any set agenda. I mean, I could talk for the rest of the hour, but thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Rob Kane with Whipley, tax partner. Happy to be here. Welcome both live and virtually. Whipley, we differentiate ourselves through industry specialization. So I'm an M&D guy, manufacturing and distribution. It's all I do. Help owners and management, with their most challenges, opportunities, issues. Very focused. You may think of us as an audit and tax provider, and we do that very well, but we've got a huge consulting group that develops solutions that are important to your businesses. So happy to be here, thrilled to be a part of that and a sponsor for the series for a long time. But I don't have a lot to say other than thanks for having us. It's great to be back in person. Love to see some of you without your masks here someday as well, but great to be here. Thanks for having us, Jason, and we'll get on with the program. Enjoy your holiday season.
Thank you, Rob, very much. Thanks to Rob and Jessica, Anita, Brian, Bob, Tammy, the whole team at Whipley. Fantastic supporters of DMI. As well, we have many other supporters of this program, including our sponsors, Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, Michael Best and Friedrich, who just ran an event a few minutes ago as part of DMI Day. This is the second of 3 events. You can join us tonight at the night market as well. We also have the State Bank of Cross Plains and our special contributors, Amy Supple and the Edgewater Hotel, UW Health, Health, Unity Point, Meritor, and Quartz. We are so thankful for your generous contributions from all of these sponsors. Now, we are going to kick off today's DMI review by finally hearing from our DMI co-chair for the first time on stage. It's been a different year. Usually the co-chair is up every single month. But Nathan, your last month as co-chair, you're up here live, and he's going to talk about many of the changes happening with our organization. So welcome, Nathan.
Thank you, Jason. I brought my water because I have pages and pages of comments to make that I've aggregated over this past year. But we're glad to have all of you here with us this morning to hear about some of DMI's important work that we've done this past year. There's been a lot happening, as you're aware, with DMI and with downtown. Much of DMI's work goes to the credit of our committed and knowledgeable board of directors. These 47 individuals, including a 13-member executive committee, devote their time, energy, and expertise for the success of DMI and downtown Madison. At this time, I'm pleased to announce the election of 7 new directors to the DMI board. These directors, whose terms officially began on January 1st, 2022, include David Braun, Senior Vice President at Huntington National Bank, Baltazar de Anda Santana, Executive Director at the Latino Academy of Workforce Development, Dan Kennelly, Vice President at Quad Capital Partners, Nora Ruffin-Schmidt, Executive Director at Starting Block Madison, Amy Supple, Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at the Edgewater Hotel, Aaliyah Stevenson, Chief Programs Officer at the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness, and Carla Tennis, Executive Director at Porchlight. In addition, we also have 3 directors who were elected to serve an additional term on our board, and they include Peggy Gunderson, President and Brand Strategist at Strategic Brand Marketing, Megan Drabek, Shareholder at Von Briesen Roper SC, and Missy Tracy, Municipal Relations Coordinator at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. And finally, we have 2 new non-voting ex officio board members joining the board, and they include Dr. Linda Vacunta, Deputy Mayor at the City of Madison, and Ellie Westman Chin, President and CEO at Destination Madison. Please join me in a round of applause for all of our new and renewing DMI board members. Given that our board does have term limits, we have a few directors that will be leaving this year. And these board members include Randy Banks with Strang, Ron Luskin, who's a downtown resident, Janine Punzel with 360 Commercial Real Estate, and Carol Schaefer with Freedy and Associates. Each one of these 4 individuals have contributed 12 years of their time, energy, and expertise to further DMI and our downtown. They have each participated as chairs and members of numerous DMI committees, have made significant contributions to the betterment of DMI and our downtown. We would like to thank and recognize these fine individuals for their many years of DMI service. Without such dedication, support, and engagement, DMI and our downtown would not be what we are today. And to that end, I'm pleased to share that other DMI members have made donations in their names to the DMI Legacy Fund. The Legacy Fund was created to honor the visionaries who started DMI and recognize individuals who have made significant impacts on DMI and downtown. The Legacy Funds go towards furthering DMI's mission through research, special projects, grant writing, and staff training. Please join me in thanking all of our departing board members. All right, that's kind of all the housekeeping that I had to get through. I want to thank all of those directors, and I want to thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to this past year to be co-chair of our board. It's truly been a pleasure for me. And my efforts this past year, I tried to frame in a belief and a concept that many of us have heard, and it was coined by the author Stephen Covey. It's the idea that change moves at the speed of trust. That in mind, a primary goal of mine this past year was trying to get our large and very engaged board to know each other a little bit better as people so that we could build stronger relationships and more trust. I think we've done that, and I think we're going to continue to do that, and it's that trust that's going to lead DMI and the downtown into the future. I'd like to thank Megan Drobeck, who agreed to be my co-chair this past year. Without Megan's expertise, knowledge, thoughtfulness, and energy, I would not have been able to make it through this year. So thank you, Megan. Joining Megan as the new leadership for DMI in 2022 will be incoming co-chair Mark Richardson, president and founder of Unfinished Business LLC, and incoming board vice chair Margaret Watson, who's the chief executive officer at Steve Brown Apartments. Megan, Mark, and Margaret, I want to thank you for your dedication and commitment to DMI and our downtown. And I have no doubt that your leadership is going to make DMI an even better organization in the years to come. Now with that, please join me in welcoming Megan Drobeck to say a few words as fellow board chair.
Good morning. This is the mutual admiration portion of our speaking today because I am up here to thank Nathan. So when they asked who wanted to say some words today as Nathan's last meeting as co-chair, my hand went up immediately, virtually, of course, because I just have so many wonderful thoughts and feelings about Nathan and his role as chair of DMI. It has been a challenging year, and for somebody to be able to step up in the way he has and to lead the DMI board and the executive committee with just thoughtful leadership, dedication, creative thinking, openness to listening. One of our main things when we started talking about the inclusiveness committee for DMI was listen, learn, and leverage. And that's kind of the thing that the inclusiveness committee talks about. And Nathan is just the epitome of somebody who listens, he learns, and he works with the people around him to really advance whatever he's working on. So I'm so grateful to have been a co-chair with you. I have all these remarks that I can go through, but I wanted to start with that because I really do want to thank you for your thoughtful leadership. I couldn't be more excited about where DMI is now, where we are going in the next couple of years, what's ahead for us in 2022 and beyond. Nathan, as we look at your work for the past year, the impact you've made on our organization and downtown is immeasurable. You have helped us to move our leadership forward. You've helped us to engage with our board in a way that we have not done as effectively in the past. And those two things together will allow DMI to continue to move forward in the future in the most impactful and effective way. So thank you for that thoughtful leadership. You've been a voice of reason. You have corrected when I say at least one incorrect thing per meeting. Nathan always knows which thing is incorrect and make sure he gut checks me on that, which I really appreciate. And, you know, you've just had a positive impact on all of us. So I just want to say thank you for that. For the people that are coming onto the board, we're thrilled to have your time and dedication. There are lots of things that need our attention right now. And so for you to commit your time and energy to this organization is something that we are grateful for. And it is not lost on us how big of a commitment that is. So thank you in advance. And at this time, I invite everybody to clap and thank Nathan for his dedication. He will be still engaged next year as the past chair on our executive committee, so we'll still see him, but let's give a round of applause for Nathan. With that, I think, Jason, you're up, right?
I'm back.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Megan. And from all of us, from the staff at DMI, Nathan, thank you. You have been an amazing force over this last year. A lot has happened at DMI and a lot has happened downtown. And you have been just an amazing, amazing leader. And it was very nice that we were neighbors. And so during COVID, we were all working from home. We could go for long walks around the west side of Madison to talk about downtown. Very interesting. But thank you for your leadership. And we look forward to many years in the future. All right. Today is an exciting day. We're going to learn about all of the different activities the last year of the organization. We have an amazing group of co-chairs who are going to talk about their work and what they've been up to over the last year. As you all know, DMI does three things. We make connections, which we're going to do today. We're going to do that right after this meeting. We help build community. We also advocate, and our advocacy work goes through our committee structure. And we have 6 standing committees: membership development, quality of life, transportation, inclusiveness, economic development, and government relations. And we're going to hear updates from each of those committees today as to all of their work there and they have. We also are going to be able to ask questions on menti.com, MENTI. I think it's right up above me, maybe. Yes. Wow. The staff is always great. And your winning lottery number today, or the code you should use for Menti, is 97629128, or that's the phone number you call to request a song. That's how old I am. You used to have to call to request songs on the radio. Yes. So call 97629128. All right. We are going to begin with a great friend of DMI, the Director of Community Relations at the University of Wisconsin, and the DMI Inclusiveness Committee Chair. For those of you who don't know Brenda Gonzalez, I hope you get a chance to meet her after, because she is one of the most dynamic leaders in the city. We are so lucky to have her as part of our team. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited and super nervous. In person, I'm so glad to see you, and across the nation, maybe the world, who knows? Worldwide. I can't wait to see everybody in person. Very nice to meet you, Brenda Gonzalez, the Director of Community Relations. I'm very excited to be here and chairing the Inclusiveness Committee. It is really important personally for me to think about how DMI is doing this work of being inclusive, making sure that we have a downtown Madison for all. So to me, it was very easy to say, yes, I want to be able to help in this work and to hold a conversation with many of you that are already part of the committee, or the ones that, of course, are interested in joining that conversation. There are many things that committee was able to do throughout the very, very difficult year. So I am here to brag about some of those things. I just want to first thank Mark Richardson that started the committee and the work that we are able to do, creating a foundation of trusted space to be able to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you, Mark. I know that you are somewhere listening to us. In 2021, we were able to have our first meeting to talk about what else do we need to do and do we want to work on. It is interesting because sometimes the conversations are difficult and it's hard to know exactly how to go about making sure that inclusiveness is part of every part of our different committees and our different work. Not only that, but also throughout the civic agenda. How do we align the work of the Inclusiveness Committee through the civic agenda? And we are able to do, thank you to the great leadership of our friends, our DMI, and the board as well. So there are a few things that I want to talk to you about. Hopefully, I will also be able to engage new members for the committee. I think that you will enjoy many of the things that we're doing. So let me tell you, I will share a little bit about the presentations and learning opportunities that we have had throughout the 2021. Also the book club and the subcommittees. First, the conversations that we had were around making sure that we learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but also hands-on. So what are we doing? And I think that we had a great way of understanding how we want to do that. The Beyond Compliance task force was very important to us. The way that they started the work that they're doing. So, the Beyond Compliance Task Force developed identify issues and solutions. Of course, that's a part of the work that they are doing, solutions and partnerships needed to achieve the goals of downtown Madison to become fully accessible and inclusive of people with disabilities regardless of age. One of the things that I want to share with you and want to highlight is the work of the Madison Festivals and Events Accessibility Guide that was already presented to the public, worked with the city, and they were able able to also do some of the training. So that was very important for that particular task force. Another thing that I wanted to tell you a little bit about, and just to again brag how we started the conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion, we invited Aaron Burbeyer and Omar Polar. Aaron is the inaugural director of tribal relations for UW-Madison. It was very important for us to understand the land where we are and the water that is part of our space. We wanted to start that conversation, making sure that we understood the history, particularly of the Ho-Chunk Nation and community. A couple of other things that I want to highlight. We were able to invite American Family Dream Foundation, Maggie Pascali, the director and CEO of Jessica Cavazos from the Wisconsin Latino Chamber of Commerce. Also Sabrina Madison, the Progress Center for Black Women that we already heard about. And also because of all this type of conversations, we were able to collaborate with our professional engagement network. And we co-hosted an event together. So that was very important for us in the way that the DMI is looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion. Also the book club. If you haven't heard about the great group that is getting together, really reviewing some of the important conversations that are happening around the nation and around our world through a book club conversation, please join us. It is really trusted individuals that are committed to continue the conversations, creating trusted ways of talking about some of these things. And the last part that I want to mention, I think my time is almost up, is the hands-on work that we are doing. There are a couple of things that are created and again aligned with the civic agenda. We wanted to create, actually, the conversation started with 3 subcommittees. We wanted to work on a few things. And that is, so partner organizations to find more job opportunities and internships for youth during the summer. So we want to make sure that every single member of our organization in DMI understands and knows a little bit about that opportunity. We want to make sure that youth of color and other underrepresented communities are able to access the internships, but not only for their benefit, but also for our benefit. I think it is really important to have the representation that we need to have the experience to be able to have an open downtown Madison for all. And the only way to do it is when I see myself reflected in some of these work, in some of these businesses, and some of the faces that I see, that I will see and that I see in downtown Madison. So I think that because of that, we wanted to make sure that we created that internship, those internship opportunities for youth. We are collaborating with Madison College and also MMSD to make sure that we have a direct connection with that youth and those in the community in Madison. I know that we're going to have opportunities to talk about the Inclusiveness Committee, so I look forward to that in the future later on today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brenda. When you start hearing all this work that's getting done, you are doing a lot. So thank you. A couple of highlights. So absolutely, the Beyond Compliance Task Force has done some amazing work trying to create accessible downtown Madison for everyone. There's a thorough report from 3 years ago where they had over 100 people with disabilities fill out surveys and really understand what are the barriers for downtown. That is available online. And do join us for the book club. We're reading Mountain Wolf Woman, A Ho-Chunk Girlhood right now. It's a fantastic book. So please do join us. If you need information, just send me a note. Next up is Peggy, but before we go to Peggy, we have a quick change. Unfortunately, Chandra Miller-Feenan could not be here last second. She is the chair of our Challenge Committee. Our Challenge Committee is made up of all of our BIPOC board members who literally are challenging the organization in DE&I work. They've been very active this year, including, and most importantly, on the Step Up Equity work. We're working with our consultants and partners, with Tanya Ibarra and the team. They've also been making sure that the entire civic engagement agenda is inclusive, diverse, and equitable. And then they are now really They are hard at work, there we go, on strategic planning right now. But next up, we have another great friend to downtown, someone that gives so much time, so much energy, so much heartfelt energy to downtown, has an office right in the center at 30 West Mifflin. She's been an advocate for downtown for so long. And if there isn't someone that isn't preaching about small business more and shopping at small business more, it's our great friend, Peggy Gunderson, the president and chief brand strategist at Strategic Brand Marketing. Welcome, Peggy.
Good morning. Thank you, Jason. Brought my water as well, but for other reasons than Nathan mentioned, I'm on that tail end of a cold and you know it's going to happen. So I'm prepared. First of all, I want to just thank DMI for the opportunity to serve with all of you. What a great organization we have with Jason's leadership and our amazing staff, an incredible board, and wonderful members. I'm so grateful to be able to serve on quality of life. I've been on it for a number of years, and I'm really glad to lead this group. I am just the orchestra. The leader and the orchestra members are just amazing. So I want to recognize their work today. When you talk about quality of life, it can really mean something different to so many people. So the way that we define it at DMI, the goal is to improve and enhance the vibrancy, livability, aesthetics, and safety of our downtown as we strive to attract and retain residents, workers, businesses, and of course, visitors. So I want to talk a little bit about the goal that we established this year, because quality of life is important to all of us, particularly through a pandemic. And when we got together as a group, we realized we had more goals than we did time. And so we broke up into 4 different subcommittees. And so I want to highlight the work of those subcommittees. Communications and messaging, which is led by Rob Gard from Destination Madison, and Lynn Wood from Wood Communications. And I want to thank them so much for their leadership. The committee right now is creating videos, overcoming objections as to why folks may not want a business downtown or want to visit Madison downtown. We've recognized what those are. We're interviewing folks in the community, as well as our first guinea pig was Officer Craig Kulka. Thank you, Craig, for doing that. And we hope to have these videos available, the first one in January. And so we'll share them with all of you. And we hope that you will in turn share them with everybody to encourage folks to come back downtown. The next subcommittee is our safety subcommittee, and thanks to Jason for heading that up. This committee is really important. We are working with our partners at various law enforcement agencies, Dane County, the City of Madison, and the university. We also do have a very good-looking guy, not that the others aren't, but my husband has volunteered to be on this committee. But we appreciate everybody. This really came into play most recently, and we have regular conversations, but just shortly after the Rittenhouse verdict, or pardon me, shortly before, the one thing that they expressed to us that they need from not just DMI, but from all of us as a community is their support. And so we had great conversation prior to, just in case, and they were most grateful for that. They reached back out and just really appreciated that DMI was such a great partner to them. Next up is our homelessness subcommittee. This is led by Carol Ann Hewitt, formerly with DMI, now retired, and Ron Luskin, a downtown neighbor and advocate. Earlier this year, we heard from 2 amazing community members, John Adams and Michael Moore, who are with Catalyst for Change. And if you haven't or heard of them, please take a minute to get familiar with their group. They are purchasing buildings, apartment units, and helping our homeless population become tenants for the first time. So this particular subcommittee helped them by organizing an online registry where we can go and donate specific items that these tenants need. They come with nothing and they need to furnish a 2-bedroom apartment. And so the need is great. And so they did a lot of work on that. And again, thanks to Carol Ann in particular for heading that up. We also had great response, and I want to thank the executive board and the board of directors for their quick action. At one of our subcommittee meetings, we heard from Dane County Supervisor Heidi Weigleitner when she she did a presentation on her Dane County Resolution 156, which basically just asks that ARPA funds be used for our homeless community. After the presentation, we were like, we really want to get behind this. And I believe that the board was meeting within a day or two. And so we sent it back to the executive committee who agreed that it was important. And then to the board, and we got approval from everybody and were able to kind of back up her proposal for that. So very exciting news. I also want to thank Susan Schmitz, who's really working hard on the purpose-built shelter, and she's been great with sharing that information with this group, the updates and kind of her perspective. She's incredibly knowledgeable in that regard. We also have our University Relations Committee. We've worked with Emily Henkin and, of course, our good friend Brenda Gonzalez, and Jason's been very instrumental. They focus on how downtown businesses can more efficiently work with the university. Our last meeting in November, we were excited to have Aaron Williams, who is a landscape architect, and he did a wonderful presentation on the proposed library mall. It is online if you haven't yet seen it. They're in the phase right now where they're asking for our input. So if this is of interest to you, please go online, you can just Google it, or go over to the university site and take a look at it. He's got lots of great ideas, and Jason's on the committee, I believe, and Brenda, and I know I've attended a few of their meetings asking for input. So thank you for your work on that, Jason and Brenda. With that, I know we're going to have a question portion, so if anyone has any other questions, but again, I want to just ask you to please thank our incredible Quality of Life Committee with your applause, and they really go above and beyond, and I think they work on this every single week. So I want to just thank all of them, and thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Peggy mentioned something very important at the end there. One of the luxuries of being on Zoom is almost all of our meetings, whether or not they're committee meetings or events like this, are recorded in our YouTube channel. So you can check out all of this information. Lots of great information at these committees. All right, next up, another great friend to DMI, someone that has stepped up this year in a big year, became the membership development chair in a year that membership was in flux with a lot of different businesses having a lot of different challenges themselves. But Brian has absolutely grabbed the reins and has been such an amazing leader and really built off the great legacy that people like Randy Banks and Megan Jarabic before him leading the Membership Development Committee. Brian is the president of Revelation PR, Advertising, and Social Media. Brian, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Now, based on the fan mail that I get as membership chair, I know that there's a lot of interest out there on the inner workings of membership and events. So here's my report. DMI currently has 441 members. This year we added 78. Now that's compared to 38 in 2020. So an increase, we're heading back up. Currently our top membership categories are nonprofit, advocacy, community service organizations, followed by real estate developers and service providers, then financial or investment institutions, then engineering and architecture firms, and then lastly, construction contractors. Our largest membership level is organizations with 2 to 10 employees. They represent 22% of our membership. So that's, I thought, a fascinating stat. I'm in that category. That's why I like it. DMI currently has 34 partners that support DMI beyond just membership dues to further advance our mission. In the 4 categories, we have 3 Pinnacle, 8 Community, 9 Madison, and 14 Downtown partners. So thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And last but not least, we welcome a new Director of Development that is over there, Heather Stetzer. So she is our new Director. Hi. Now let's talk about events. We started off the year with a fully virtual slate of events, but did eventually move back to some in-person and then some hybrid, of course, like today. In total, DMI held 45 events, 30 virtual and 15 in-person, with an estimated 3,500 total attendees. That's incredible numbers. Here are event highlights, starting with What's Up Downtown. That's where we are today, in case you didn't realize. We had discussions with U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, UW-Madison Tribal Relations Director Aaron Bird-Bear, as Brenda mentioned, Wisconsin Director of Athletics Chris McIntosh, and now you end the season with me up here on the stage. We held virtual and in-person New Faces, New Places networking events at various places, including Wisconsin Distributors, ESPN Madison, Piano Fondue, Urban Land Interests, Bree Stevens Field, and the Hilton Garden Inn. We held behind-the-scenes tour of the UW-Madison campus, the Henry Violet Zoo, Hamill Music Center, the Children's Theater of Madison, and the Madison Youth Arts Center. We held 4 virtual new member coffee events. Those are used to welcome our new members each quarter. Wonderful events. Hope we can get back to Von Briesen soon. We held Nosh at Noon panel discussions on transportation, commercial real estate, and then downtown arts, entertainment, and tourism. We launched a new quarterly virtual events series in partnership with Milwaukee Downtown. And this series is aptly named the Madison and Downtown Exchange, Madison-Milwaukee Downtown Exchange, excuse me. We held a hugely successful in-person annual event at the Monona Terrace on the rooftop. It was a gorgeous day. You probably saw my wonderful photo up behind me earlier. We had 350 people in attendance there. We held an informative panel discussion on the state of downtown and, of course, produced the 11th annual State of the Downtown Report. And we co-host a number of special events with our DMI partners. I want to make sure that we give credit to John Trenelia and the DMI staff for putting together such a long and wonderful slate of events, and we will have even more next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And we even have our last event tonight. So you could join us for our last New Faces, New Places of the year at the night market at the top of State Street between Ian's Pizza and the Veterans Museum. Come join us. We've got hot cider. We've got fire pits. One of those fire pits may look just like the one that's normally in my backyard, but pay no attention to that. All right. Last but not least today, we have one more chair that is going to join us. Morgan Ramberger. Morgan is the chair of the Transportation Committee and is the executive director of B-Cycle nationwide, so knows a tremendous amount about transportation and the different multimodal transportation options we need for successful downtowns. I have to just give a plug for Morgan as well, because we've asked Morgan, I think, to be a guest speaker. Well, the first one we came back live here at a Madison Downtown Exchange at a Nosh at Noon. So she is certainly a go-to speaker because you'll see why. Great energy and knows so much about transportation. So welcome our transportation chair, Morgan.
Well, thank you, Jason, and no pressure there. My Face ID is not working with the mask. There we go. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here and for joining online for the folks who are on Zoom. It's been such a pleasure chairing the Transportation Committee for the past year at such an eventful time. So much going on in downtown and just more broadly in terms of transportation habits. We took kind of our start at the end of 2020. We merged the bike subcommittee into the Transportation Committee, which I think, as Jason pointed out, really represents how fully multimodal transportation is in Madison and how our committee is thinking about it. So our committee focus is driven by, of course, the issues of the day in Madison, but also by our civic agenda. And I just wanted to share a little bit of what that is for transportation to give you some context. We reworked this at the beginning of this year to reflect where we are today. The Madison area must have multimodal transportation, land use, and parking policies and practices with sustainable funding to address the current and future economic, social, health, and environmental challenges facing our region, city, and downtown. Several other categories within that, but that sets the stage a little bit for what we're focused on, what we've been doing for the past year, and we'll focus on continuing forward. So over the past year, as I mentioned, we started out by reworking our civic agenda to reflect our priorities for DMI transportation, but then also digging into some of those specific topics. So we were really fortunate to have an expert from the National advocacy organization, People for Bikes, talked to us about what does a fully connected bike infrastructure do for a community, and really inspired a lot of thinking for our group in what we can do in Madison to take that to the next level. We had several conversations about rail, high-speed rail in the Midwest, what's happening there, what we hope will happen in the future, and it's something that I expect us to talk a lot more about in 2022 as an advocacy focus for DMI. We reviewed a great study that DMI did on pedestrian malls across the country, and of course, we spent a lot of time talking about the future of bus rapid transit through our downtown. Really important conversations that have been really meaningful for the organization and for our members. As we look ahead to the future, I expect us to stay focused on many of those same topics, but I think it's worth mentioning too, Brenda mentioned earlier that inclusiveness needs to be part of everything that DMI does across all of our transportation my transportation work, but all of our committee work and all the work that DMI does. And that's something that we really want to focus on into the new year as well. What does equitable, accessible transportation really look like in Madison? How do we close those gaps? So invite you to join us going forward into 2022. You don't have to be a transportation expert to be part of this committee. If you walk, if you bike, if you drive a car, if you ride a bus, however you get through into downtown, you're a great candidate for the transportation committee. And just to tell you a little bit about why people join the committee, the top reasons are they want to stay informed about what's happening, they want to hear our great speakers, and they want to help shape the future of transportation downtown. So if any of that appeals to you, hope that you will join us on Friday mornings. We're on the second Friday, bright and early at 8 a.m. And just to close, I want to thank the wonderful DMI staff, our great and very engaged committee members, including many folks from the City of Madison staff who make our transportation committee such a rich experience for all of us. So thank you so much and happy holidays. Hope to see you in 2022.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Yes, please do join us. If you ever want to know anything about transportation, it is a fantastic committee that has a lot of the city leaders and civic leaders around the area joining them every single month. Okay, there are two committees that, unfortunately, their chairs could not make it today. So you get the report from, well, me. Ann New Year Morrison, the chair of the DMI Economic Development Committee, and normally, in her day job, a shareholder at United Urban Land Districts, and a principal at New Year Investment, and Angie Black, the chair of the Government Relations Committee and a partner at Carlson, Black, O'Callahan, and Battenberg, could not make it today, but they have been doing some amazing work. And I'm going to just give some quick highlights from our Economic Development Committee and Government Relations Committee. The Economic Development Committee created a position statement and advocated for the City of Madison to maintain current policies on rezoning of properties. And one of the highlights of the year overall downtown, and a huge acknowledgement to our great friend Amy Supple, who's in the room now, assisted the Black Chamber, Hmong Chamber, and Latino Chambers, the BID, JD McCormick, the City of Madison, the Downtown Group, with the Culture Collectives, which is a pop-up shop program on the State Street at 440 and 444, and at 444, yes, 444 State Street. Please check it out. It is amazing, amazing pop-up shops in both locations. If you need holiday gifts, that's the place to go. So we were able to help get that program launched and running. Hosted a panel discussion on Tax Increment District 25, which closed, one of the largest tax increment districts in the city's history. We heard a presentation from Alder Mike Verveer, Matt Mikołajewski from the City of Madison, and Jason Stein from Wisconsin Policy Forum. We hosted a fantastic event with their friends Brenda, with the National Association of Minority Architects, NOMA. This was a joint event between Economic Development and the Inclusiveness Committee. Great work by Rafiq Assad. Just a great organization, and we're excited to work with them in years to come. We also had a partnership with the Wisconsin chapter of Congress of New Urbanism, because their executive director, Rick Cole, was in town to tour Cap East on perhaps the rainiest day I've seen in Madison. It was raining sideways. My shoes are still wet from that a couple hour long meeting. We also are hosts. We hosted and we're going to continue to host the Regent Street Revitalization Project. This is something that should, if you're a fan of downtown, should be watching Regent Street very closely. There's a tremendous amount of activity, and this organization has been together, this group, has been together for years now, and DMI has helped pick up support to keep it going. There's a tremendous amount happening on Regent Street, whether that's the Bayview Triangle, the new building that's proposed behind the Alexander buildings, the hotel that went up, the conversion of Hotel Red to Steve Brown Apartments. It's one amazing project after another. And so we are watching that very closely. So if you're interested, please do join us from that. We also heard presentations, very important presentations from Lori Heineman and Rich Lynch of the Dane County Workforce Housing Fund, an initiative of the Economic Stability Council. Our great friend Heather Stoudert from the Planning Department, presentation on the recently approved 300 block of State Street project with core spaces. Craig Stanley on the future of commercial real estate, a huge topic for all of us. Dr. Ruben Anthony on the Black Business Hub on South Park. Aaron Hager from WEDC on all of the amazing entrepreneurial programs in the state and the area. Nora Rowan Schmidt, our new board member, on Starting Block, did a panel discussion on the tech scene downtown with Forrest Woolworth, Mac from Purblue, and Max Fergus from Lum. It was a fantastic discussion. And then Pam Christensen talking about MG and the economic importance of downtown Madison. And amazingly in my notes, John, this is personal, you did forget a presentation, mine, that I gave to the committee on the Regent Street area. So I guess it wasn't that noteworthy. John, thank you. Just kidding. John is amazing. He literally keeps all the trains running on time. So if you want to join us, it's the third Thursday of every month from 8 to 9 on Zoom. Please join us. A great group of people there as well. Government Relations Committee, our great friend Angie Black, they were very busy this year. We're back in the endorsement game for the city council elections in 2021. I don't know, Nathan and a few others, Peggy, were there. We interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of people, and it was a wonderful process, and we really got to know people well, and we were able to build more trusting relationships. We also approved the new 2021 civic engagement agenda, heard a presentation from Jason Stein on the mayor's budget, and Doug Poland on redistricting just a few weeks ago. And then also we had excellent discussions with several city officials, including Council President Said Abbas, Council Vice President Arvina Martin, 4th District Alder Mike Revere, 2nd District Alder Patrick Heck. Please join us on the first Tuesday of the month from 8 to 9. As you can see, there is a lot happening here within the organization. We are now going to take any questions we have, but I, not very smartly, left my phone over there, which actually has the questions on them. So I'll be right back. All right. Anyone questions from the audience as well? Or not? We could just all go socialize and have a happy New Year. Somebody already seconded. Well, let me just see if anyone has any questions online. I am not seeing any yet. Any questions in the audience? If not, we can honestly end a little early and just get to know each other a little better, which is one of the biggest parts of DMI. How do you get involved? How does one get involved in committee work? From Nathan? Very easy. Send us a note. Any one of us, myself, John, Madeline, or Heather, we can sign you up for a committee, or you can sign up on our website, and each committee page under our work, and on the right-hand side, you can register for a committee. We don't take attendance. You can come as much or as little as you want. There is just invaluable information. One of the great things of these committees is how much information you get in inclusiveness and transportation and quality of life. It's really incredible. So please do join us for any and all. And remember, any employee of your organizations are eligible to become members of DMI. So we can create as many profiles as you like. Any other questions? Okay, that was very easy. One note I just want to say before we end, I want to say a personal thank you, even though I just shamed John for missing my presentation. I want to say a huge thank you to John Trenelia, Madeline Plummer, Carol Ann Hewitt, Gabriel Terrell, Abby Buda, and Heather Stetzer for the amazing work they've done over the last year and two to keep this organization running at a very difficult time. Downtown is at an inflection point, and as is DMI. It would not work, trust me, I do not specialize in details. These folks do, they just do amazing work. We are so thankful for everything that they do. So let's give a round of applause to our amazing staff. And lastly, I want to say a huge thank you to the team at the Edgewater Hotel. I'm a former hotelier, hospitalitarian. I think I made that term up. Thank you for all the work that they've done over the last year for us, just in all the different venues we've had, but we come to this every single month. So Amy and the team, thank you at the Edgewater Hotel. All right, in closing, thank you to our sponsors. Again, our major series sponsor, Whippley LLP, Ho-Chunk Gaming, Madison, Michael Best and Friedrich, the State Bank of Cross Plains, UW Health, Quartz. No, I messed it. It's the hardest one, and I messed it up the last time of the year. UW Health, Unity Point Health, Meritor, and Quartz. Sorry, Julie Alec. The Edgewater Hotel as well. We look forward to seeing you to a ton of events in 2022. We are have so much in the hopper. We will see you back here for a presentation by Dr. Alex G. on the Center for Black Excellence at the end of January. And if we don't, we'll see you tonight from 4 to 6 at the New Faces, New Places at the top of state. Just look for the fire pits. We'll see you then. Thank you for all your support. Have a wonderful holidays, and we'll see you soon.